When I first joined the company, I was just another fresh graduate with a brand new button-up shirt and way too much hope. I believed that if you worked hard, showed up early, stayed late, and volunteered for the tough projects, you would be noticed, respected, maybe even rewarded. It didn't take long for reality to slap me across the face. My boss, who I'll call Brad, was the kind of guy who thought emailing a PDF made him a tech guru. He wore cheap suits, reeked of knockoff cologne, and had the leadership style of a drunk little league coach. From day one, he hated me. Maybe it was because I was young. Maybe because I knew how to use a spreadsheet without screaming for help. Or maybe just because Brad was a bitter, aging man who couldn't stand anyone smarter than him. At first, it was little things. He interrupted me in meetings. Assigned me grunt work he didn't want to do. Took credit for my projects and threw me under the bus whenever something went wrong. I kept my head down and powered through, thinking it would get better. It didn't. It escalated. Brad started mocking me in front of clients. He would forget to pass on critical information until it was too late. He blocked 2 of my promotion requests by claiming I wasn't mature enough for leadership roles. I spent months swallowing my pride and quietly absorbing the humiliation. People around the office whispered about how unfair it was, but nobody dared confront him. Brad was too good at playing politics. I realized complaining wouldn't save me. HR was a joke, and leadership was terrified of rocking the boat. So instead of fighting him openly, I decided to become invisible. I did my job perfectly, but kept everything close to the chest. I learned how the internal systems worked. I memorized policies. I studied Brad's patterns. Most importantly, I quietly documented everything. I backed up emails, invoices, project timelines. Every shady number he fudged for clients. Every fake deadline he blamed on me. Every time he billed hours he didn't work. I built a private archive so thorough it could have gotten him fired 10 times over. And then, fate handed me a golden opportunity. Corporate announced an internal audit as part of a transparency initiative. Suddenly, every department had to submit detailed project reports. Brad panicked. He started barking orders, throwing papers around, trying to cover his ass. When it was my turn to submit documentation, I handed over a complete, organized report. No accusations, no drama, just data, unmistakable, irrefutable proof that Brad had been cooking the books, mismanaging projects, and lying to clients for years. A few days later, Brad called me into his office. He tried to act casual, joking about how stressful audits were. I smiled, told him I was feeling pretty good, and thanked him for the learning experience. He didn't catch the sarcasm. That Friday, Brad was escorted out of the building by security in front of the entire office. No warning, no farewell speeches, just the sudden, humiliating crash of his fake little empire. I heard later that he lost his severance, got blacklisted from our industry, and ended up managing a failing furniture store 2 states over. After Brad's removal, corporate leadership offered me his position temporarily while they reorganized. I didn't take it. I took my bonus, my pristine resume, and got out of there before the dust even settled. Brad never realized who took him down. He probably still thinks the audit caught him by random bad luck. But deep down, I know. I know he handed me the shovel every time he humiliated me. All I did was dig. Okay, listen, normally I'm like super chill when it comes to breakups. Like I'll cry for a day, eat a whole pizza, blast some sad girl anthems, and then just move the hell on. But this time? Nah, this time I evolved into a goddamn revenge demon. 'Cause Kyle, we'll call him that, even though he deserves worse, decided to cheat on me with some basic-ass girl from his gym. And he thought I wouldn't find out? Like boy, your entire friend group follows me on Instagram. You're not slick. Anyway, so it's 10 p.m. on a Thursday and I'm just chillin' doing skincare, feeling cute, when I get a DM from a random account. Turns out it's the girl he's been hooking up with. Her name's Mandy. At first I thought she was trying to start drama, but no, she had no idea I existed. Like she genuinely looked ready to start sobbing when I sent her a screenshot of me and Kyle being all Bay red heart ring. Sis was shook. So first we both cried a little, I was PMSing, whatever, and then we realized we had something way more powerful than sadness, pure, chaotic spite. We decided to meet up IRL because texting wasn't enough. I was low-key scared it was gonna be awkward, but brew, the second we sat down at Starbucks it was like we'd been besties forever. She brought receipts. I brought screenshots. We literally built a damn timeline of Kyle's scumbaggery. It was so organized we could have sued his ass if we felt like it. And yo, Mandy was mad pretty. Like, way prettier than any girl Kyle deserved. Cute freckles, tattoos, killer laugh. Total vibe. At first it was just girl power energy, like, let's burn his life down together, but then somewhere between venting and laughing about how tiny Kyle's you-know-what was, we started like, kinda flirting. Like she touched my arm and I got butterflies and was like, wait, what the hell is happening RN? Anyway, fast forward. 1 hangout turned into 3. Then 5. Then a weekend trip to the lake where we may or may not have shared a bed and made out under the stars like a literal Wattpad story. It wasn't planned, okay? Life just be lifing sometimes. And best believe we posted about it. Soft launch pics, inside jokes, TikToks where we looked hot as hell, laughing at leveling up after heartbreak. Every single post, you could just feel Kyle punching the air somewhere. Homeboy was in my DMs within a week. Crying, begging, saying, you were supposed to be the love of my life, and, you're embarrassing me. Lol, okay, maybe don't cheat next time, king. He even had the audacity to text Mandy like, I miss you. Sis sent a screenshot to our group chat and we cackled for like 10 minutes straight. But wait, it gets better. So one night, Mandy and I go to this rooftop party. Real chill, hot people everywhere, good vibes. And bam, guess who rolls up? Kyle's older brother Jake. Taller, hotter, actually funny, tatted up, looked like he models for motorcycle ads or something. He came over to say hi, super casual, and you could just feel the tension. Mandy gave me that look and I already knew it was about to get spicy. Long story short, after like 6 tequila shots, some very flirty beer pong, and way too many bad decisions, we somehow ended up in a very close situation. Me, Mandy, Jake, in a guest bedroom, doing things I legally cannot describe in detail unless we're switching platforms. Let's just say Kyle's family reunions are probably real awkward now. Not my problem though. Nail care. Kyle eventually blocked us all. His mom apparently posted a Facebook status about modern girls being demons sent to destroy good men. Like, girl, your son couldn't even destroy a microwave burrito without help. Meanwhile, Mandy and I are still out here thriving. Dating? Kinda. Besties? Always. Jake? Well, sometimes he texts you up at 2 a.m. and like, who am I to ignore a lil divine karma? Woman shrugging anyway. Moral of the story? Sometimes losing a boy is actually winning the lottery. And sometimes God's plan is just really fucking petty. Stay petty, stay pretty, stay winning sparkling heart. When I first moved into my new apartment, I thought I'd hit the jackpot. 3rd floor, great view of the park, affordable rent, quiet neighborhood. For the first week, life was golden. Then I met Doug. Doug was my downstairs neighbor. At first, he seemed like a decent enough guy. Wore socks with sandals, owned way too many cargo shorts, but hey, who am I to judge? He even brought me cookies when I moved in, store-bought and slightly stale, but it's the thought that counts. Week 2, the nightmare began. Doug was a drummer, not a professional drummer, not even a good drummer. Just a guy who liked hitting things loudly at 2 a.m. because that's when the creative juices flow, bro. I tried to be nice. Polite knock on his door. Friendly smile. Hey man, could you maybe keep it down at night? Doug nodded, apologized, seemed reasonable. That night, the drumming got louder. He even added cowbells. Week 3, Doug got a dog. A loud, anxious German shepherd that barked at everything. Leaves, clouds, air molecules. And Doug? Doug left that poor beast alone all day while he went out to jam sessions, which I'm pretty sure meant drinking PBR in someone's garage. The barking never stopped. 8 hours straight, every single day. At this point, my sleep schedule was wrecked, my nerves were shot, and my eyeballs felt like they were vibrating in their sockets. I filed complaints with management. Nothing. Filed police noise complaints. Nothing. Doug just laughed it off. Actually laughed. Told me to chill out and embrace the vibe. You ever been so tired you feel like your soul is trying to crawl out of your body? Yeah, I snapped. But not loudly. Not angrily. No. I decided Doug needed to understand what it felt like to lose his damn mind one tiny inconvenience at a time. Here's how it went down. Phase 1. Welcome to the smell. Doug loved leaving his windows open, so I started placing very particular items outside my kitchen window, directly above his. Rotting shrimp, overripe bananas, a Tupperware of raw chicken left out for a few days in the sun. A beautiful bouquet of nightmares. By week's end, Doug was convinced something died in the building. He called pest control. I pretended to be concerned. Phase 2. Endless deliveries. Using burner emails, I signed Doug up for every free sample I could find online. Protein powders, catalogs, newsletters, political flyers, church brochures. Packages started piling up. His mailbox overflowed daily. Sometimes he got the same junk 3 times a day. Management warned him to control his mail situation. Phase 3. The concerts. Doug loved noise? Cool. I bought 2 massive Bluetooth speakers and placed them against the floor directly above his bedroom. Every morning at 6 a.m., I blasted whale mating calls, bagpipe music, and death metal at random intervals. Not long enough to be called harassment, but just enough to ruin his REM cycles. And if he dared to complain? Well, I was just enthusiastically exploring musical diversity, right? Just like him. Phase 4. The dog gambit. Doug left his dog outside on the balcony sometimes. Whenever that poor pup barked for longer than 10 minutes, I would immediately call animal control. Every single time, they fined him twice, gave him a warning the 3rd time, told him a 4th report would lead to mandatory pet removal. Guess who suddenly cared about barking hours? Over the next month, Doug unraveled. He looked tired, paranoid, jumped at shadows, started putting up passive-aggressive notes all over the building about community respect and negative energy. Eventually, Doug broke his lease, packed up his drums, his barking dog, and his collection of terrible cargo shorts and disappeared like a fart in the wind. Management let me move into his old, larger unit, at a discount. Now I have a bigger apartment, better view, and peace so pure it feels like spa music in my veins. Doug? No idea where he went. Hopefully somewhere far away, where cowbells are banned by law. Alright, let's set the scene. It's about 5 years ago. I'm 23, single enough to believe love is real, dumb enough to think I'm immune to heartbreak, and dating this girl named Nikki. Nikki looked like a literal Disney princess. Big eyes, fake innocent smile, and that sweet little vanilla scent you'd expect from someone who listens to Taylor Swift on loop. Spoiler. Nikki was about as innocent as a raccoon in a jewelry store. I thought we were serious. Turns out, she thought we were exploring options. Translation. She was exploring everything that moved and had a heartbeat. One night, I'm out with my boys at our favorite hellhole bar. The place was nasty. Sticky floors, broken neon signs, jukebox stuck on Nickelback songs. Bathrooms smelled like wet socks marinated in despair. But beers were $2, so we kept coming back. I'm about 6 shots and a beer tower deep when my buddy, the human version of a TMZ alert, shows me his phone. It's Nikki, making out, with some dude who looks like he sells CBD gummies out of his trunk. And not just a kiss. I'm talking full-tongue Olympics. Both hands grabbing ass like they were trying to merge into one organism. At first, I just stared at the screen, blinking. Maybe it was deepfake technology? Maybe I was so hammered I hallucinated her face? Nope, that was real. That was my girlfriend. Most men at this point would walk away. Maybe punch a wall, maybe cry into a cheeseburger. Not me. I ordered another drink, tipped the bartender an extra 20 for emotional support, and started planning one of the pettiest crimes in ex-boyfriend history. I remembered something crucial. Nikki's apartment had trash plumbing. Her sink would clog if you looked at it wrong. Old-ass pipes, weak water pressure, the works. Maintenance guy told her months ago she needed repairs, but she spent the money on eyelash extensions instead. Perfect. Still had my key. Still had my rage. I hitched a ride to her place, sipping whiskey straight from the bottle like a country song gone horribly wrong. Walked in, lights off, cat staring at me like, bro, you good? Nah, Mr. Whiskers. I was not good. First stop, her fridge. I grabbed a 6-pack, popped one open, sat on her nasty IKEA couch, which, by the way, I paid half for, and plotted my sabotage. Step 1. Gather weapons. Makeup wipes? Stuffed. Q-tips? Stuffed. Bobby pins? Stuffed. Cheap-ass jewelry from Claire's? Stuffed. Scrunchies, rubber bands, random plastic shit? All stuffed into the sink. I wasn't gentle. I packed that sink like I was trying to win a world record for dumbest revenge plot. Then I squirted in half a bottle of her $50 organic conditioner to make it nice and slimy. Turned the tap on full blast. Max power. Walked away, letting that slow, devastating flood begin. I had one last beer for the road, gave Mr. Whiskers a snack, again, cat not guilty, and moonwalked my ass out of there. Left the door locked behind me. Game over. 2 days later, gossip started flying. Apparently Nikki got home late, drunk as hell, passed out on the couch without noticing the entire bathroom was turning into an indoor pool. By morning, the water had soaked through her cheap floors, hit the bedroom carpet, and spilled into the hallway. Landlord freaked. Neighbors pissed. Damage estimates in the thousands. Her parents had to front her the cash. She got slapped with lawsuits. She ugly cried so hard outside the courthouse she projectile vomited in the bushes. Absolute art, if you ask me. And the best part? She had to move back into her childhood bedroom. Posters of Justin Bieber still on the walls, sharing a bathroom with her 11-year-old brother who hated her guts. Did I ever feel bad? Not once. She flooded my heart with bullshit. I just made sure she knew how it felt, literally. You ever just sit there, sipping your coffee, scrolling mindlessly through memes, and suddenly it hits you, holy shit. I'm actually about to turn into the villain in someone else's story. Yeah, that was me. About 3 years ago, I was living with this girl. Let's call her Sarah. We had one of those picture-perfect setups. Joint bank account, shared grocery lists, Netflix profiles so linked up it felt illegal to even think about watching a show without the other. We were planning vacations, talking about getting a dog, even arguing about dumb crap like which color towels matched the kitchen. They didn't. The ones she picked were ugly as hell. Anyway, one random Tuesday, I noticed Sarah being weird with her phone. Like, real jumpy. Screen down whenever I walked into the room. I brushed it off at first. Maybe she was planning a surprise birthday thing for me, right? Cute, naive little me. Then came the yoga certification classes that just so happened to go super late at night. She even started carrying a spare change of clothes and leaving the house looking like she was about to compete in a CrossFit championship. Spoiler. She was flexible all right, but not because of yoga. It finally snapped into place when I found a random hotel receipt sticking out of her gym bag. Room for two, weekend getaway, different city, no yoga mat in sight. I went nuclear silent. I didn't confront her. I didn't blow up her phone. Instead, I started moving pieces behind the scenes like a bored evil genius. First, I quietly canceled my half of the utilities. Water, gas, electricity, Netflix. She didn't even notice. Then, I pulled all my money out of our joint account. I mean everything, not even leaving a courtesy $5 to avoid the awkward, "This account is now empty" message. Next, I hit up our landlord and gave my 30-day notice. She didn't even realize the lease was only under my name, since she was too busy FaceTiming her ex at weird hours. I even lined up a new apartment across town, a dope little studio with an actual working dishwasher. The cherry on top? I collected every receipt, every text screenshot, every scrap of evidence into a neat little folder. On the day I moved out, I left it all behind, gift wrapped in a giant framed collage mounted right above our bed. Centerpiece was a blown-up photo of her kissing her ex in front of a goddamn cheesecake factory. Imagine cheating and having bad taste in restaurants. Before I left, I unplugged the Wi-Fi router and stuffed it into my backpack. I also scooped up our cat, Mr. Pickles. She forgot to complete the adoption paperwork. Legally, he was mine, and honestly, the cat always liked me better anyway. About an hour later, as I was driving to my new place, my phone lit up like the 4th of July. Calls, texts, voice messages. Crying, screaming, begging, threatening lawsuits, threatening to call the cops, threatening to key my car, threatening to tell my mom. Spoiler. My mom already knew and hated her. I didn't reply, I just blocked her on everything. Then, for the final flex, I sent her a Venmo request for my half of that month's rent. Never heard from her again. And Mr. Pickles? Still chilling with me today, fat and judgmental as ever.